that period until the modern era. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, folks. The Constitution drafted in this room really in the summer of 1787, only been amended 27 times. It's pretty sad. So it tells you how flexible, how amendable this document is, but it also told you it took a lot to make changes. Right, so these guys knew when they gathered here in 17 and 17. They don't have the answer. They can't project what's going to happen hundreds of years down the road. So the Constitution they had written here in this room. We sent out the state ratifying conventions. And by the next summer of 1788, the required number of states is 9 ratified it. So naturally, the state codes are at the top. And by that fall, the elections were taking place, and this new Constitution was place. Right? When they were talking about it in this room, when Franklin goes off the aisle here from Pennsylvania, he goes on the top of Washington chair. They were actually carving that caught his eye. You guys have a really tough time from this and seeing it. This is what Franklin was looking at on the top of Washington's chair, folks. One of our volunteers, you can see, is an excellent wood carver. All right, this is absolutely beautiful work. It was a carving of a half sun. All right, Franklin saw this during the debates on this new Constitution. So when he looked at it, he wondered whether it was rising or setting sun he saw in Washington's chair. He said he thought the artist who made some drawings had a difficult time trying to show the difference between sunrise and sunset in their works. But after 4 months of debating, folks, he believed that the work they had done here was the best framework of government they could produce, and had to make it on its own merits. So as these gentlemen, 39 and 55, who came to Philadelphia, stepped up to the president's chair to sign it, Franklin remarked that, indeed, at length, I have the happiness to know that this is a rising and not a setting sun. So he saw it as the birth of the nation. You and I would have actually heard it in short order. All right, as soon as the convention breaks up, Franklin steps down on Chestnut Street in front of the building, folks. Almost immediately, a lady in the city street, some say the wife of Grant, this is Hollywood. She said, Dr. Franklin, what a difference. Reply to her, and I think a reminder to you and I, folks. One of the same answer. He said, you have a republic now, if you can keep it. All right, so Franklin, of course, saying these guys started the work in this room, and it continues in our hands today. I guess that's what this convention in Philadelphia today is. New convention. It's all about. Do you guys have questions for me?
You say the only original piece is George's chair.
It's chair, not a bad piece to have.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing, I want to try these because these are actually period items, these furnishings, and most of these objects, folks. There's some special features here, which is nice at this kind of time of the day when we're dealing with warm air, folks. The walking stick over here on the Virginia table, like Thomas Jefferson. I mean, in the amateur, we're talking about it. Sometimes the kids ask me the best questions here. The little quill you see up here a lot of times, a lot of the children ask you about these cool events.
There you go.
One on the Delaware table here, folks. We belong to Caesar Rodney in Delaware. All right, you may know the story of Mr. Rodney when the Delaware delegation was deadlocked in a tied vote for independence. Mr. Rodney was stricken with cancer referred rode through the night to Philadelphia to break the tie of the Delaware delegation, voting for independence. Political men belonged to him, belonged to the Delaware table, belonged to a man by the name of George Reed. So there are some special items here.
So are those the actual items? Those canes and stuff?
Oh yeah, it's right in there. Copies. They're the original.
Okay.
All right. Sometimes folks ask us what happened here later on and so forth. Actually, maybe some of you years ago, President Obama announced his candidacy for his first term as president. He announced it in Springfield, where in another guy by the name of Abraham Lincoln. The president traced his footsteps, President Lincoln's steps to the White House. And while he was here in Philadelphia years before, on Washington's birthday on his way to the White House, he made some pretty startling comments out here. They were raising the flag in front of the fence hall. He said, "I'd rather be shot dead on this site than to give up the ideals of the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution." And sadly, you and I know within days after the surrender of the Confederate Army, and down in Virginia, where it got the National Courthouse, the president was assassinated. Funeral train retraced his steps from the White House back to his home in Illinois. President Lincoln actually lay and stayed here. He was in the room within the fence hall post. And as we said, the President Obama on his trip, of course, likely was in the White House, followed the same steps up here. And this is kind of an image of what it looked like in the newspapers in those days. These guys actually had taken out the center windows in either side of this room, folks. Those staircases up into this room, staircases out. They estimated probably the range of nearly 500,000 people filed past the president's castle. So there were a lot of, events later on in our nation's history, some sad like this event. Once this building later on was purchased by the city of Philadelphia, they made some changes to it. All right, this room actually is the most important room in the building, folks. The city of Philadelphia had bought this because Pennsylvania took the old state house down. That's the capital we further inland. They had no further use for this. So, today, if you purchase a commercial property or home, folks are going to upgrade it. You're going to try to attract tenants, and that was no different for the city of Philadelphia in the 19th century. And what they did was actually a beautiful job turning an 18th century room into a 19th century room. All right, it was pretty elegant in its own means, but that means that a lot of the original work